Hello there, friends. This is Chris with Peace of Mind Art and Crafts, and today I'm in the process of making about 7 sewing books. And as some of you know, my sewing books have been quite popular, both selling on my Etsy shop, and also people looking at the various videos that I have out on the sewing book. And there's probably about 5 or 6 of them out now, which I will link down below to this one on how to make your own sewing book. What I want to cover in this video is some ideas on the ephemera to put into your sewing book. So that's what we're going to work on today, some ideas of some of the things that you can put in your sewing book. Basically, I do it like I do a journal, except of course I make the pages out of fabric, and I usually use felt, as that is easily does not ravel, and also can act as a place to put needles and pins and safety pins and so on without tearing or ripping it. So that's where I'm at today. It's been a while since I've done a video. I did travel to, after Christmas, I did travel up to Wisconsin to see my sister, who had to go into a nursing home. She had some trouble with her heart and had open heart surgery and so on and so forth. And my other sister and I together went up there and tried to facilitate the move into the nursing home. Anyway, so I've been busy with that, and also just getting different other things done. I want to thank all of you for the sales that you've made in my Etsy shop, and that's been going really well, and I really appreciate all of you who have purchased something. I also appreciate all of my viewers on my YouTube channel, and that's been going really well also. So thanks for watching, and I hope you continue to watch. If you have some comment, please leave it in the below in the comment section, and I will get back to you on that. If you want to see something special or just like what you see, then let me know. I really appreciate it. Okay, the first thing, like I said, we're going to make ephemera for the sewing book. And the first thing I'm going to work on is a couple of tags. Now, I had this this tag from the Paper Studio, which I think some charms came on it. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to cover this part, since I'm using fabric. Cover this part with fabric. I am going to most likely sew around these tags since it is a sewing book, but I don't have to, and you don't have to either if you don't feel like sewing. Also, another thing I would like to mention about this ephemera is that this also can be used, these ideas of course can also be used in just a regular journal. And I do both. I do both sewing and journals. So I use the sewing ideas a lot in my journal. Okay, I'm just using regular art glitter glue, white glue. If you don't have that, just use whatever you have, any kind of like a tacky glue or something like that. I'm going to glue this onto the tag, and I also will find a paper. Oops, I think I left no, it's just the nub from where the staple was in the fabric, in the cardboard. So I'm gonna do that. I can put a hole, and what I'd do is this probably won't cut it through too well, but I'll be able to then cut it off, I think, to maybe not. Maybe it's stuck in there for good. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put a little glue at the edge to kind of glue that together where I tore it a bit, and that should secure it. Also, it will be more secure when I put the a backing piece on it. I love this saying, love is the tie that binds us. And so I think I'm going to put it on here. I think I'll cut it down a bit. Find a place to put it. I can also ink it around the edges a bit. And if you're going to put this in your sewing book, you can put it in one of the pockets, perhaps, that you create. And I suggest putting a plain background on it so that it could be written on as you would a regular journaling card. Maybe list some of your various projects that you worked on. And also in these sewing books, this is a great place maybe to put some photographs of some of the projects that you made. Okay, so that's the start of that tag. It isn't quite finished yet, but it will be. And it will go into one of the books. Here's the other part of the tag. Maybe I might want to put, this is kind of a cool, let's see if I can get it. That fits up there. I think so. Most of it will fit on anyway. So I'm going to cover. Since my paper that I'm going to put on here is bigger than this tag size, I'm going to put it on the tag size and then cut it down. I hope you all are doing well. It's January. We've actually been having some, after Christmas we had some quite a bit of snowfall one time. But we've actually been having some really nice weather here lately. It's been in the 40s. So that's always fun. Okay, let's see. I think that'll work. Good. Okay. And I will cut this off. I can either, since this is blank on the back, I can just either leave this as is, or I could add a space, or another blank type of paper, perhaps a coffee dyed paper, to the back to write on. Okay, I wouldn't have to put a hole in here if I didn't want to, but I think I will. Put a ribbon or something through there for the tag. Okay, that turned out very pretty. This was just a printable that I printed from, that I bought from the internet, from an Etsy shop. I think I just put in sewing digital, and this came up along with other sewing digitals. And you can do that also if you want to buy some. They're not very pricey, usually anywhere from $2 to $4. And you can print them up as many times as you want. This one, this woman that I have used a lot is Linnea Scrap, digitals, and I've printed this a lot of times, and this is really a cool one to use for tags and so on. Okay, so we got a couple of tags, not quite done, but I plan on, like I said, I plan on sewing around those. So that's one type of ephemera you can do. Another type is, I had a calendar that had some sewing things on it, and I cut some of the things out to use. And some of these I can use as like on the edge of a page. Here I did bring along a page so you can kind of see what a page in the book looks like. And like I said, these pages are made out of felt. And perhaps you might want to put this down maybe with a piece of lace behind it, or something, something like that. And then in this you could pin your pins. You could also have this space up here to pin pins and needles. Another thing you could use these smaller ones for is, well, this one would make a good pocket. So we could glue that on. Now, when you are gluing things down to felt, you will need to use a glue that works on felt. And I have found that if I can find mine, here it is. I have found that the fabric tack glue works the best on adhering either fabric to felt or paper to felt. So you will have to use the fabric tack. The white glue will not hold onto the felt. It comes off. So, and I did buy at Joann's. I bought a glue. I think it was a white glue that was specifically made for felt. But I found it didn't work. It didn't do the job for me, so I just used the fabric tack. Okay, so say I had use this as a pocket, and I could ink it up if I wanted to. Okay. I could cut a little divot in here if I wanted to, but it would take away the illustration, so I don't want to really do that. And then what I could use this for, I just cut these out with pinking shears. What I could use this for is if I had some, like a thread card. If I had some thread to wrap around. The way I would do that is I start at the left side. If you're left-handed, you might start at the other side, and then I will continually, and I'll catch that. See how I caught that in the thread, and I'll just keep wrapping it around. This is, like I said, this is crochet cotton. This is great to use. It's a little bit of a thicker cotton. I can grab this and pull it through a little bit there. And then when I end off, I can just make a tiny little tear in the edge and then wrap it around a couple of times and clip it off. Okay, then I have a cute little, after I get this glued down, I have a cute little pocket for my thread in my sewing book. And if I use this kind of thread, you know, fairly often, then I can just have my sewing book by my table, and then I can just pull out, have some thread available to me. Okay, so that's another idea. Okay, let's see what I do with the tags. Okay. Oh, here they are. Okay, also, these are some printables, some digitals that I purchased off of Etsy. And these I printed onto cardstock. So all I had to do was cut them out, and then I inked around the edges of them. And I can use them as tags. I could say, for instance, put this one on as a pocket. Maybe put my pair of scissors in there. You know, kind of whatever you come up with. Okay, another thing I have to show you is you can do like a little pin cushion in here. You can either use a heart that you have slow stitched on, like this one. What I would do is I would, of course, I would probably sew the book first before I started adding things to the pages. And the reason I would do that is because this does take up some of the room in the binding of the book. So I would want to make sure that this fit. And this probably won't fit after I get this done. But this is for illustration purposes. What I would do with this is I would, using my fabric tack, I would go all the way around. First of all, I would cut this yarn off. I would go all the way around. I'd start at one side, and I'd go all the way around the heart with the glue until I came up to and left about, oh, what is that, an inch and a half? About an inch and a half. So that when I glued it down all around, I'd have a small opening right here that was not glued. And then I'd stuff some polyester fiberfill in there so that it would stuff it up a bit and make it a pin cushion. And some of you that have purchased some of my sewing books have found these. These little French knots look like pins. I thought they were at first. So that you have a little pin cushion inside your book. Okay, another way to put pins down, of course, is if you make a fabric flip. And here I have a fabric flip. I'm pretending like this page is already sewn into the book. And I would, up to the top here, I would either sew or glue this top part together. If I was going to use glue, I would glue it one at a time. I'd glue this one first, the one that's in the back. Then I'd glue the top one. Then I'd glue this lace that hangs down on kind of on the side, so that I'd have all of it would be attached up here on the top, or sewn if you want to sew it. And then that way you have your fabric flip. And it's in the book, and you can use it for pins, needles, whatever you got. Of course, pick it up so that you could put this in the various layers. You can even put something underneath here. Just adds a very pretty look to your sewing book page, but still makes it useful. Still gives you a place to put your pins and so on. Okay. And our last thing that we're going to do, well, actually we're going to do two things. We're going to do a pocket, which I'm going to use this little piece of, and this can hang below the page a little bit too. This is a piece from an old linen table runner or dresser scarf. And I can put that on as a pocket. And let's see, what was it? Oh, a little notebook. So the way you make this little notebook is you take up some paper, whatever kind of paper you want in it, and it can be paper that you cut, like maybe from a piece of coffee dyed or tea dyed paper. I have these little notepads that I bought at Hobby Lobby. So I take a number of pages from this little notebook and put them together. I would staple them. If I can find my stapler, hopefully I can. Not right at the moment. Okay, so you would staple them at the top, and then you would take a piece of paper, whichever paper went with your and you'd cut a strip. I think that's about 1.25 inches, maybe. A strip of paper. You could fold it in half. Okay, and then you would make sure your papers are together, staple it, and then you would glue this over the top to cover over those staples. And you could just use a regular white glue to glue this. And then you could cut off the edges after it was glued, and then you have your little notebook. This is handy to put in your sewing book, you know, for your notes or whatever that you might want to make. If you want to tear these out, all you have to do is just kind of bend them back against the little paper up here, and then tear them out. So, and that could just fit right in your little pocket. Okay, there's your page. So let's go over what we have. We have the pocket with the notebook, little notebook. You can do a pin cushion. You can do a fabric flip. Various note cards from Digitals. And I'm trying to find there's the thread card and the thread card. So here's plenty of ideas for you to use in your sewing book for the ephemera. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Peace of mind to everyone. Happy New Year.